Well, there is no doubting what Nigel Benn brought to the ring and the legacy he left when he hung up his gloves. But the family are entering a whole new exciting era with his son, Conor.
The Destroyer lived up to his name last time out in April when he just took 1 minute and 20 seconds to wipe out Samuel Vargas inside a round. It was a sensational performance. I was gripped to every single... I was frustrated it finished so quickly, quite frankly. Because
you wanted more.
I love watching Conor fight. He is, as he describes himself, he's very exciting. He's box office to watch him fight, and it was a stunning performance.
Well, let's see if he's excited this morning, as well as exciting to watch, because he returns to the ring this weekend and he takes on American Adrian Granados, and he joins us now, along with his dad, Nigel, who's in Sydney this morning. Good to see both of you. Conor, let's come to you first of all. How are you feeling about Saturday?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, I'm very excited to get out there now. Obviously, I'm in fight mode now, so just ready to deliver another entertainment performance come Saturday night.
So you're there in the back garden of Eddie's old house, which is where Fight Camp is set up, that was so successful in the first lockdown, of course. How does it feel for you being around the ring, knowing that come Saturday night, this is where the action's going to take place, Conor?
Oh, it excites me. You know, it revs me up. I'm ready to go. I've done all the hard work's done now. It's about just getting in there now, staying composed and doing a job on Granados.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we're all gripped by the Olympics at the moment and inspired by those performances that we're seeing. Have you been following that as well, Conor? Are you watching and getting into the mode of watching those Olympians doing their incredible feats and thinking, right, come Saturday night, that's my Olympics, that's my gold medal fight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, watching the Olympics, it was something I wanted to go on when I was, 16, 17. Going to the Olympics was a dream. So I've definitely been following it, and Britain's doing great. So, but it does motivate me come Saturday night, definitely.
To keep on with that winning streak would be amazing. We're sort of uniting you a little bit with your dad in Sydney. We can see the two of you together on our screens, but you aren't together. How much are you missing seeing him and your family at the moment?
Do you know what? It was the only sacrifice I could make, seeing my family. And, you know, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make, but it doesn't make it any easier. But I believe you've got to make sacrifices in life to get ahead. I miss my family dearly, and, you know, the sacrifice has to be worth it. When I look back at the sacrifice I made, not many people will be willing to do that. So it is hard for me. You know, I've got my own family here now. I've got my wife, Victoria, and my son, Eli. And because of the lockdown, I'm unable to see my family. So it is really difficult, but I believe sacrifices will always pay off in any walk of life.
Let's talk to Nigel. Nigel, you know, one of the things that's been fantastic for us this morning is talking to some of the parents who have been watching their children perform, whether they be gymnasts, whether they be swimmers, whether they be divers. And they talk about the nerves they go through watching their kids do what they do so brilliantly. How do you feel watching Conor when he's in the ring? Can you enjoy it? Can you sit back and relax knowing he's got it? Or are you living every single punch and step and flick?
Well, tell the truth, Benn, at the beginning of his career, I was kind of very, very nervous in kind of thinking, how far is he going to go? How far is he going to go? And I can tell you, putting a hand on my heart, I have so much confidence in him. I'm not nervous no more. I'm really not nervous. I know he's going to go all the way. And when he starts meeting him superstars, the big welterweights up there, I just believe that he's going to put in a good show against any one of them. And so I don't have nerves. I think it's inevitable. One day he will lose, but I know he will bounce back because he has that determination and will to win, and that's what I love about him. Regardless, whatever he does, me personally, I wish I was dedicated as much as Conor was.
Wow!
I was never dedicated like as much as I trained hard. It's different levels. I would say I was here. Conor's way above me.
Lovely for Conor to hear. He's smiling and beaming. I don't know if you can see him at the moment. So you don't make your dad nervous because you're so good, and he puts you a lot higher than himself in terms of dedication, Conor.
Do you know what? It's such a blessing for my dad to be as proud of me as he is. That's what every son wants. And to hear that from not only my dad, but the two-time world champion, the Dark Destroyer, the living legend, the icon, it's such a blessing. And every time my dad gets brought up in whatever it is that I do, it does make me emotional because, you know, I aspire to be half the man my dad was inside and outside the ring. And, you know, I just miss him. Yeah, I miss him loads.
You're going to get me going in a minute, Conor. You're going to get me going. I mean, Nigel, I think every parent is anxious watching when their kid starts out. You now have great confidence in Conor. But for you particularly, and in the sport that you're both involved in, it's not just being anxious whether they win or lose. There's a risk of getting hurt. They're literally taking punches. And I understand when Conor first started, you weren't that keen on him fighting.
No, because I didn't know how dedicated he was going to be. In being honest, if you're looking at him now, he's, oh my gosh, it's completely different. The way that he trains, I mean, his strength and conditioning, none about twitch fibers. We didn't know all about this. He's teaching me how to train now, and it's so funny. I'm learning from my son. It's unbelievable.
What I thought was really interesting, Nigel, was you didn't want Conor to start boxing initially. You didn't understand why he needed to bring that sort of conflict into his life. He had a very nice lifestyle. Conor, you've been very open about how privileged your upbringing was. And yet you found your way into the ring and you found a purpose that you are living and loving. You're now a dad as well, Conor, and you've got a little boy. And you've already turned around and said, the last thing I want is for my little boy to be a boxer. I want him to be an accountant. I want him to be a lawyer. I want him to do something peaceful.
There's a whole different legacy going on here, isn't there?
Do you know what? My son don't need to fight. It's the hardest sport in the world. It really is. I mean, it's hard.
What your dad said about
and you've got to apply yourself up. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just speaking into the future. My son isn't going to be a fighter, and I stand by that. You know, he can be an accountant, a lawyer. He can have something less risky.
Go on, Nigel. You tell us what you were just saying, because you're saying Conor's saying his son's not going to be a fighter. What did you say?
That was the same thing I was saying to him. You're not going to be a fighter. Now he's doing the opposite of what I told him not to do.
I tell you what, this is what it comes down to. Parents, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dads and sons,
Boys
mums
never
and daughters, they don't always do what you say. Oh, look.
Now, look, Conor, I'm not sure you can see your dad and the girls. Can you see them there?
I can, yeah.
What do you want to say to them?
I miss you guys. My little sister, Layla and Lima.
Oh.
I love and miss you guys. I miss you guys so much, and I hope to see you after the fight, providing we can. But I love you guys. I miss you so much.
Yeah. My grandson, Eli.
Eli's at home in bed.
Nigel, who have you got with us there? Obviously, Conor knows, but just so we know. Nigel, who have you got with us there? We
got Layla.
Hi.
And we got Levi.
Hello.
Hey, Layla. Hey, Levi.
Good to see
so
you.
how do you guys feel about Conor fighting on Saturday night? Do you have the confidence that Nigel's got in his ability, or do you get nervous watching him fight?
I personally get very nervous for him, but I just know that God will protect him and all that he does. So I have the strength that he will win.
And what about you, Layla?
Personally, I know Conor's ability, and watching him fight once in England, rather than getting nervous, I actually got really hyped up because watching him in the ring, he changes. He's like fight mode.
She should have been a boy, this one here.
Like with anything he does, but it's more like I'm more excited for him because it's another step for him into his career. So, and no matter what, I'm proud of Conor because I see how much dedication he puts in, whether it be waking up at 4 a.m. to go for runs or training so hard for hours and hours and sacrificing his time with his family. Like, no matter what he does, he just works hard. And he's really an inspiration. Like, personally, for me, growing up, being 16 years old now, my biggest role model is actually Conor. Like, our relationship's like Woody and Andy. We're inseparable, even though we're in different countries.
Oh.
That's so special to hear. Conor, how does that make you feel? Goodness me.
Oh, don't get me going. You know, it's hard because my little sister, when I left Australia, she was she was a little girl. Do you know what I mean? And now she's like this woman. I mean, she's a woman at 16, so it is hard for me because you sometimes weigh it up and you think, is it worth it? It has to be worth it. I have no choice but to make this worth it. The sacrifices I've made, you know, my son not seeing his grandparents, his aunties, his uncles, me not seeing my little sister grow up, me not seeing my little brother, it's hard, but as I said, it's the only sacrifice I could make, and it was a sacrifice I was willing to make.
Well, come Saturday night, it'll all be worth it. Fingers crossed, you get into the ring and you get down to business. Your family clearly have ultimate confidence in you, whatever happens. And it's lovely to meet the two of them and see Nigel again. It's been a long time, Nigel. Lovely to see you looking so well. Conor will be gripped, and I'll be watching and living every moment with you come Saturday night. So best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.